Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, Mary McLeod Jones, and I'm joined by Jack Armstrong, president of Acumen LLC, and will be acting as the host and moderator for today's programming, which focuses on structural sheathing innovations and code updates. These two programs equal 1.5 AIA learning units. The first program is a 30-minute nano course worth 0.5 HSW credits focused on reversible structural insulated board, or SIB. That'll be presented by Darcy Overby and Josh Elliott of Barricade Building Products, followed by Jay Crandall, PE, presenting prescriptive wall bracing and the 2021 IRC. That's a 1 credit unit course focusing on wall bracing provisions of the 2021 International Residential Code and the steps to meet these provisions. We will register AIA member attendance for all of those who included their member numbers in the registration. If you haven't, please put that in the chat and we will take care of that. All attendees will receive certificates of completion for self-reporting professional purposes as well. We want to remind you all that you are muted currently. If you have questions, and we hope that you do, our presenters will be answering those at the end of the programming. But please add them in the Q&A function on your screen and not in the chat area. This will allow everybody to see the question and vote them up or down so that we'll be able to answer the most relevant questions. Again, we'll be taking all of those questions at the end of the program. But before we go any further, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor of today's program, BASF, the makers and inventors of Neopor GPS, that's graphite polystyrene rigid foam insulation. It delivers maximum efficiency, cost effectiveness, and the lowest embodied carbon of any rigid foam insulation. We'll share more information about Neopor with you in the links on the downloads, and also at the end, you can ask questions about Neopor as well. Now, I want to introduce our first speaker, Darcy Overby. She's the National Sales Director of Barricade Building Products, and she's going to kick this off with this really great nano course about the advantages of reversible graphite structural insulated board. Darcy, take it away.
Thank you very much, Mary. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. As Mary said, I am Darcy Overby, the Director of National Sales here at Barricade.
Oops.
So as you know, as Mary said, this course will be accredited, an AIA accredited course here. You will get credit. So there are quite a few advantages to reversible graphite structural insulated board, and you'll hear me refer to it as SIB or SIB board throughout this course. So a few advantages are it provides exterior continuous insulation for your projects. It's going to provide moisture management. It will increase durability and environmental performance and increase project efficiencies on your job overall. After we're done here today, you'll be able to describe what it is. What is SIB board? You'll be able to explain the benefits this type of product provides. You will understand how it meets different code requirements, as well as be able to share information on how it can be used. So what is it? What is reversible graphite structural insulated board? So here is a nice cross-section of what the product is and what it's made of here. So on the very right-hand side, you're going to see the water, the first layer of water-resistant barrier and air barrier. Then sandwiched in between in the middle there, you see that GPS, or that graphite polystyrene insulation. And that's very important that we note it's the graphite polystyrene, because This type of foam, this insulation does not off gas. It holds that R value over the life of the product, which is very important. And then on the left-hand side there, you're going to have the engineered structural panel. So that's going to be the shear component of the system. And then on the other side of that, there is another water-resistant barrier, an air barrier, and that's in the form of a poly coating on that engineered structural panel. So that's the system. That's what makes up the system here. So the product as a whole has multiple different system efficiencies. So the first and most important here, so it is a 4-in-1 code compliant product. So with this one panel, you're getting your structural sheathing, your structural component for the wall. You're getting your air barrier component. You're getting your weather barrier component and an added R value all in one panel. It also helps meet your continuous insulation requirements on the building. It has the long-term R value and a low product carbon footprint. It's lightweight and dimensionally stable, so one person can handle a panel of this product. And it's reliable. There's extensive testing that's done for these panels, as well as it has a nice, straight, smooth install. And it produces less waste overall and takes less labor to actually install. So with a system like SIB, you're going to be able to increase your project quality and your profit for your customers. So their projects will be able to be done quicker, which will allow them to have access to revenue and provide quicker closings on the projects. So this one panel reduces the amount of steps just because it's so many products in one. It reduces the amount of steps around the building so they can get more projects done per year just because it's quicker to install. And we get asked a lot, how does a structural insulated board differ from just a standard wood structural panel such as OSB or plywood? And there are a lot of differences, but I'm just going to talk about a few of the main ones here. So the first, again, is that addition of that water resistant and air barrier to both sides of the panel. So you're going around the building once instead of going around multiple times with multiple products, which can be misinstalled. More products lead to more misinstallations. The additional products can be costly. And again, that time, you save time with just this one. Second, this panel provides superior racking resistance. So again, it's an engineered panel that replaces an OSB or plywood. So it'll provide some superior racking resistance. It has quality control that oftentimes can't be seen with plywood and OSB. And last, it can be less than half the weight of a standard wood structural panel. So again, one person can easily install it and handle it themselves. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Josh Elliott, our Director of Product Management.
Hi, everyone. So GPS, if you're not aware, is EPS with graphite added into it. It was patented by BASF, and the graphite improves the performance of over a normal EPS. It adds roughly 25% R value increase over EPS. And it meets all of the same normal standards of EPS. So if you're used to working with EPS, GPS is the same, it just provides better properties. So you can go to the next slide. And in that, it provides more R value per inch, whereas EPS is a 3.6 per inch, GPS is 5, matching XPS. It is vapor semi-permeable, so if water were to get in there, will eventually has a way to escape, and it provides the lowest embodied carbon of any rigid insulation. And it's not relying on blowing agents like an SPS to help provide that R value that dissipate over time. Go to the next slide. So one of the unique things about an SIB product is that it is reversible. Traditionally, when you're installing foam on a home, the foam is facing outward. You can still install a SIB product like that, but you can also put it with the foam in towards the studs, which gives you a hard shell. The structural sheathing is on the outside, which makes a very nice smooth wall, great for siding installations, but it also just helps during installation and before the siding is on. Yeah, you're not going to overdrive fasteners through foam with the sheathing out, and it protects if you're installing a window on the second floor and somebody sticks a ladder up there. You're not going to take a chunk out of the foam with the structural sheathing protecting it on the outside. Next slide. And I guess what we're trying to talk about here is it's an easy install. It's going to install with a traditional nail gun or staple gun, just like an OSB would. So people that are used to installing OSB, they can install this the same method. But in the same time period of putting normal OSB sheathing on, you're going to get your CI and water resistant barrier all in the same time frame. We can go to the next slide. Yep. And so, as we've said, it does meet all of your requirements. So everyone knows the new energy codes are coming, and they are going to require extra insulation in the walls. So you've got that. And with continuous insulation, you're providing, you're not going to get the thermal breaks where you can see the studs and thermal transfer there. It does provide air barrier properties. You don't need to put house wrap up. It meets all your WRB properties and your structural sheathing. So it really does save you time and provide a 4-in-1 product. We can go to the next slide. So as I stated, the energy codes are coming. There's currently 13 states that are under review right now, looking to adopt them, and even some localities, I know metro areas that are adopting them already, trying to get ahead of the state, because everyone's aware with either extra insulation in the walls or the continuous insulation, it's coming. It provides a better home. It's more airtight, more energy efficient, everything that's people are looking for. If you're trying to get your HERS rating up, this is a great way. And as you can see, we do offer it in an R3 and an R5. And with the R5, you basically have the whole country covered with the new 2021 energy codes being adopted. We can go to the next one. It does require less material. So as Jay gets into the prescriptive bracing methods here, there are TERs, technical evaluation reports, for the SIB products. They do have shear values if you want to design your own shear wall, but they also have what's called an equivalency factor, and that's your equivalency to an OSB panel. So if you're following the prescriptive method and you look up in your table for your building, say you need a 10-foot required bracing length on a wall. If your equivalency factor is 0.8, you multiply those two, and now with an SIB type product, you only need 8 feet versus the 10 feet in the prescriptive method. The other thing, corners are always a tough sealing proposition. That's generally where you can find a lot of air leakage. With the SIB guard product, it does seal that off. The continuous insulation folds around, so there's no break in the insulation, your air barrier or water barrier there as well. We can go to the next slide. There is SIB is manufactured under a strict quality control process in-house where it is tested constantly. But there is also third-party testing where it's been tested in full 23-foot walls, 4x8 walls, perforated, portal frames for, say, a garage door. During this testing, every stud has load cells under it. There's deflection is measured. We know where every pound going in and where exactly it comes out. And to prove that, you can go to the websites for the TERs. They have PE stamps for every 50 states, just to add a little more sorry, just for comfort reasons, proving that you have nothing to worry about there. Next slide. Ways to specify this are asking for a SIB product with GPS, so you get the better R value over an EPS product. There's the wrappable corners, as you can see in the picture there. It ships flat and is easy to store on job sites, but folds up with our fiber hinge, making a nice continuous insulation there. And you still do need to tape seams on it and flash windows as normal. And it does come with a 30-year warranty. All right. And that is the end of ours.